All gonna be safe, and we're all gonna have a great time. What in the Jesus Christ was that?
Welcome back, all of you sexy savages. Ricky Rotten back again, and as you may have noticed, I have recently started doing men's self-improvement content on my channel. However, when I first started doing this channel back in the day, one of the many things I did was telling interesting stories from recent history, because I do love telling me a good yarn. So I've decided to continue telling stories, but keeping with my channel's current theme, every story I tell is going to have something to do within the realm of masculinity and or self-improvement. And the theme and the lesson of today's story is keeping a cool head under pressure. Serious pressure. And today's story takes place in the Rainbow Nation of South Africa, a country famous for its beautiful scenery, majestic wildlife, flying sharks, apartheid, and an insane crime rate so out of control that people drive around with flamethrowers on their cars and live in fortresses rather than houses. And one of the most dangerous jobs you can have in a place like South Africa, or anywhere at that, is working armed security for an armored car delivery company. While bank robberies are a rare thing these days, armored car heists are not. In fact, they happen all the time, including one in Dallas, Texas last September, where an armed courier was unfortunately murdered for the money he was transporting. The worst part about working as an armed courier isn't just that it's a super dangerous job with long hours, mediocre pay, and you risk dying daily. It's that it's a super dangerous job with long hours, mediocre pay, where you risk dying daily for someone else's money. Okay, listen up. You see this? You see this right here? All this shit? This is my money. Not your money, my money. All of it, every penny. Your job is to protect my money with your very life if you have to. I'll pay you $2 more than minimum wage, no health insurance, no overtime. And for this kind of job, you need the right candidate. Enter Leo Prinsloo. Prinsloo. Damn South African names. Who the fuck names their kid Elon or Sheralto anyways? It turns out Leo is no stranger to danger because he was a former SAPS cop, which is kind of like South Africa's version of BOPE from Brazil. Google him. And not only is he a former SAPS cop, but Leo is also the chief instructor of Fortis Proactive Defense Solutions, a security company based out of Pretoria that does all sorts of different types of security work, including armored car transportation. And on the day in question, Leo decided to drive the truck himself, as he often did just for shits and giggles, alongside his co-worker Lloyd Metabit. You know what? We're just gonna call him Lloyd. It was only Lloyd's fourth day working with the company, and spending the day working with the chief instructor as his driver would give him some much needed wisdom, and in this case, some much needed experience. On the morning of April 22nd, 2021, Leo and Lloyd were doing their job, delivering cash all throughout Pretoria. Things were going smooth until about 10:24 in the morning. Leo noticed something. There was a white pickup truck coming up behind him, and it was coming up fast. Really fast. As the pickup truck approached, Leo kept a close eye on it, expecting the worst, and then the truck passed. Crisis averted. But then a black sedan came flying up out of nowhere, and...
Surprise, motherfucker!
And just like that, Leo and Lloyd found themselves in the middle of a rolling gun battle. Now I know what you're thinking. Ricky, what's the big deal that they're getting shot at? They're in an armored car.
These things are built for that, right?
Well, the truck Leo was driving isn't like the big beastly motherfuckers you see driving around here in America. This thing was a 70 series Toyota Land Cruiser. Everything that was bulletproof on this car was 100% aftermarket. It even still had switches on the door, back when the windows used to go up and down. It was a much smaller vehicle that could roll over a lot easier if hit hard enough, and no gun ports, which means they didn't even have the option to return fire and had no choice but to run. And run they did. But have no fear, because with all of Leo's experience, training, and instincts, the second shit got real, he turned into the goddamn transporter in the blink of an eye, and immediately took control of the situation to get the fuck out of the kill zone. After the ambush, it becomes very clear that the pickup truck that passed them was in on it after all and attempts a roadblock. But giving zero fucks, Leo plows right through their bullshit roadblock in an attempt to run over the bandits.
They're fucking jam spears on the highway!
Unfortunately not, Leo missed all of them, and a bunch of them hop back into the white pickup truck and start playing bumper cars with Leo and Lloyd in an attempt to disable the vehicle. But Leo Prinsloo, being the smooth operator he is able to control the vehicle at all times, and retaliates by giving them tit for tat, trying to run them off the road. After letting both bandit cars pass him, Leo decides to execute a bold strategy of cutting a U-turn on the fucking freeway against oncoming traffic going God knows how fast. And as fate would have it, so did the bandits. After speeding the wrong way down the freeway, attempting to create distance from the pursuing bandits, traffic starts to intensify. So to avoid a head-on collision, Leo decides to cut another U-turn, this time heading straight towards the pursuing bandits, who have stopped and got out of their cars and attempted another roadblock.
You're gonna fucking shoot.
But by the grace of God, the DIY armored car does its job and both men escape unscathed. And thank Christ the armored car did its job, because holy shit, did you see where these bullets were landing? So with the immediate danger over with, Leo and Lloyd finally decide to call for help. So they call their co-workers instead of the police, because South Africa.
Found Robbie, found Josh. Ask him where they are.
After about a minute of speeding like a motherfucker, Leo finally spots an exit and gets off the freeway. However, his windshield is completely spiderwebbed from getting shot at, so he's unable to see that well and ends up rear-ending a poor civilian car. With his adrenaline pumping and still unable to see well because of the cracked windshield, Prinsloo ends up accidentally running over one of these cement ball things and ends up getting the car hung up. Realizing the car is stuck and the pursuing bandits can fly up on him at any second, Leo jumps out of the car as quick as he can with his rifle in hand, ready to go full blood diamond down their asses. But thankfully, the bandits gave up after their last failed roadblock, and backup got to Lloyd and Leo shortly after they got stuck. The bad guys got away, Leo and Lloyd got away, the money was secure, and no one got hurt. After the incident, the dashcam video of the failed robbery attempt went viral, and Leo Prinsloo was even interviewed about the ordeal by a couple of different news agencies.
The accuracy of the gunshots is evident that it was not a first-time robber or a untrained person behind those AKs. The problem is now that the outcome of a situation like that is based on luck.
And thanks to his 15 minutes of fame, he was also on a TV commercial for a national courier company.
He comes from the front, brakpanant. Comes from the side, PK with the right. If he comes for the parcel, you box him unstable. Then you hit him with a wable.
We don't do that. And that's where the story ends. Leo Prinsloo still works as the chief instructor of the security company and still drives from time to time, and Lloyd still works there also. And this whole situation goes down in history as a stunning example of how to keep a cool head under pressure, and that you need to be ready, willing, and able to act accordingly when the situation you find yourself in goes from normal to horrible in the blink of an eye. And also as a warning to the average person to not be naive of the monsters roaming the land that they live in, because there are monsters out there, and you never know when they're going to strike. So when they do decide to strike, you gotta be ready. And thus ends the story of the failed South African armored car robbery. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through to the end. I will catch all of you in the next video with the next story. Stay sexy, stay savage, and don't forget to like and subscribe, because if you don't, I will find you. Fortis Proactive Defense Solutions, a secure, that's a mouthful. The last failed roadblock. Black.